Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to give you my first impressions on the mid-month Warriors of the Sky Miss Marvel mini update. And now this one, despite having a really bad reaction from myself and the community for the patch notes, does have some redeeming qualities. I do think that there are quite a few things that need to be improved from this update, and of course all of the things that were missing from the mid-month update. You know, no fixes for the GBR Dormammu bugs and for other GBRs as well as no reward upgrades or updates or anything like that for any existing content, squad battle, world boss legend, etc. No ETA on playable gore. All that stuff is definitely still true. However, I don't want to be all doom and gloom, and I would be dishonest if I was telling you that this update here is all doom and gloom, because it's actually not. And I actually want to start with the outstanding and standout highlight of this update, Miss Marvel. We thought she was going to get overshadowed because she's not the tier 4. Oh boy, oh buddy, were we wrong. And the upgrade for Miss Marvel is really the full package, because even if you're a casual player and you buy uniforms and you buy upgrades based on how they feel, how they look, the animations, how close they are to their MCU and Disney Plus counterparts, then this is the uniform for you. If you're buying the uniform because you want it to be meta, this is the uniform for you. So I've got good news for you. There's very few reasons to skip this Miss Marvel uniform. Let's get into it here. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous skills that ring so true to the show and are basically the complete opposite of the reaction we had to Moon Knight's uniform. And let me remind you, the reaction we had to Moon Knight's uniform was, I can't really tell that it's a Disney Plus uniform. Oh, with Miss Marvel, you can absolutely tell. Let's check out her third skill here. Look at this. She shoots out these 4 orbs, which then converge in the middle and explode. Really cool sort of vortex, dimension portal kind of effect. Her fourth skill is straight out of episode 6. Spoiler here, where she protects Kamran from the DOCD by using that big, huge prism bubble effect thing that allows him to escape into the sewers. Then her fifth skill also looks amazing. She explodes with the bangle, pulls you in close, and then Ora punches you to death. And when you turn on SFX, here's the thing, guys. The people who do the animations for this game were definitely on point. Look, the eye change, right? She gets the glow from the bangle and she goes absolutely berserk. Now, there is one problem with this uniform right now. There's a targeting issue with her fifth skill. It's sort of difficult to showcase here, but sometimes she basically gets turned around and she punches in the complete wrong direction. I'll try to illustrate it here for you guys, but basically because the enemy gets pulled around so much, this shouldn't happen for World Boss Ultimate and World Boss Legend because the bosses can't be crowd controlled like this. But against regular enemies, potentially in other sort of lesser PvE content, maybe dispatch and stuff like that, there can be an absolute definite targeting issue with her fifth skill due to that pulling effect. I'm not able to showcase it right now, but it'll eventually come up in a video. It's not a huge problem. Like I said, it shouldn't apply to things like World Boss Legend where you can't snare and sort of pull bosses in, but it may have an effect on different on other content. And then the crazy thing of all, her sixth skill. With the SFX off, she has this little speech bubble where she thinks of Captain Marvel, which is awesome, and it sort of powers her up because that's where she gets her inspiration from and how, you know, heroic and stuff Carol Danvers is. Really cool. And then with the SFX on, you get a completely different effect. Check this out. So with the SFX on for Kamala, you get this one here where she breaks out of the comic book and she's like, no, I'm gonna be a real hero, and she goes and smashes it. So I gotta say, from an aesthetic point of view, from a Disney Plus point of view, this is exactly what we've been asking for. This is exactly what they did with WandaVision, and it felt so good. And they sort of did it with Loki, and it felt really good. But then they didn't really do it lately with the other more recent Disney Plus stuff. Like Captain America Falcon didn't feel that much like it was from the show. Moon Knight definitely didn't feel like it was coming straight out of the show. But they are back to doing that, and they need to stay here because that's the only way, besides making them super meta, this is the only way to really get people excited about these Disney Plus uniforms, and this is the way that it should be, right? As fans, we're waiting for these uniforms for months. This is not coming out with the show. This is coming out well after the show is done, so it should be accurate to the show, and I think they've done a bang-up job for that. As far as how meta this uniform is, I will leave you with a screenshot where I completed stage 50 of Mephisto with a 140 proc obelisk. If that doesn't sink in, I've got good news for you. I will be showcasing her a lot more, but I guess the easiest way and the shortest way that I can explain how meta I think Miss Marvel is, she might be better than Makari. Yeah, that's where we're at. As far as the uniform optionals, they're very, very good. We have Jessica Jones, which is actually not that good. Gilgamesh, which is pretty good. Maya Lopez, Thing, and then Wolverine. Okay, never mind. I think Kamala has the worst optionals. Blue Dragon and Sunbird have really good optionals. Yeah, Kamala's are actually pretty bad, especially Thing. Wolverine and Maya are actually good. So there's 2 good ones, 2 bad ones, and then 1 sort of so-so. But still, they're not bad. But yeah, I think Kamala is going to be the standout of this update, and for good reason. Very meta and very, very fun to play, and very true to the show and true to life. However, we then come to Blue Dragon and Sunbird. And while I obviously haven't fleshed out completely, this is a first impressions, right? I haven't fleshed out completely how good these characters are. From what I've initially tested, neither one of them is very good in PvE. So for those of you hoping to see a really big PvE bump for either one of these, I don't see it, at least at level 70 with the uniforms Mythic. And yes, I already have the uniforms Mythic. I dropped 2 Mythic uniform ticket upgrades. Their uniform optionals are amazing. She has Captain America, Superior Iron Man, Thanos, Quicksilver, Quasar, and Rogue. Like, Blue Dragon's optionals are fantastically meta. And then for Sunbird, he also has some pretty great optionals with Shang-Chi, Sif, Colossus, Doctor Doom, and Carnage. So, like, the optionals for them are amazing, really. But for Sunbird, he doesn't seem to impress very much. And the thing is, this is his ceiling, right? He just gets the uniform. That's it. There's no level 80 for him. There's no tier 4 yet. So right now, from my early impressions, I would say Sunbird is still squarely in the camp of support for the other Warriors of the Sky. So I would say, you know, you should probably heavily consider him if you're going to heavily invest into Blue Dragon, especially for things like PvP. Now, I've already started to hear that Blue Dragon might be a menace for PvP. So that is definitely something to consider. She did not impress me at level 70 for PvE content, but I didn't do a full test. I did, you know, a partial test for now. But if you want to check her out, you can go over to the Challenger and you can find, I believe it is Vicky Curry, who already has a very formidable, I should probably just look over here and scroll through the names, already has a very formidable there we go, right there. A very formidable Blue Dragon combo with Colossus and Sunbird. So I'm going to swap the team here to my meta team for PvP. But let's just take a quick peek at how a tier 4 Blue Dragon operates on auto here. My, you know, my Molecule Man is you know, is not going to fare at all. He's no match for her. But the point is not him. He's just there for the lead. Let's see what Adam does here. Adam, she tanks the second skill from Adam, which is what I heard she's able to do. Now, she's going to die here, but she's going to revive. Let's see what Adam does here. Can he kill her through the Warriors of the Sky attack? He gets smoked. Okay, he revives, and he doesn't kill. So, interestingly, he doesn't get the kill on her in either attempt with his second skill. That's pretty huge. And he actually gets killed by Sunbird. Wow, Adam Warlock gets killed by Sunbird. There's no way Sunbird kills Hulk. On the revive, doesn't matter. Okay, and we should be done here unless my Hulk kills himself to reflect, which he shouldn't. But yeah, a potentially very formidable team once we see some of the other Warriors of the Sky getting upgrades. And if Sunbird gets a tier 4. But really, as you can see, this team heavily relies on Blue Dragon to literally carry you. As soon as she dies, this team is so much weaker because Sunbird provides so little, and then you really don't have a lot of good options for the third character. Like, you could run Ebony, you could run Colossus, you can't get away with running War Tiger or Shadow Shell, and then I guess you could throw in any random third, but then they're not going to take advantage of Blue Dragon's lead, so then it gets kind of awkward. So that's really where I think my opinions are starting to form. I think Blue Dragon is going to be more impressive at level 80. She already has very high stats. That's one thing I want to point out. Very high defenses. Sorry, we're actually using Kamala's leadership, but still pretty high defenses for a level 70. 22,700 energy defense is very, very high. If you compare that to someone like Emma Frost, who has to reflect, she has 3,000 or almost 2,000 less energy defense. Yeah. And again, Blue Dragon goes higher than level 70, so she has a much higher potential ceiling. So very high stats for PvP. I'm not too sure about PvE. Not too sure where she stands there. Not impressed initially from my testing, but we'll have to wait and see. We also have the sort of curse of level 80, where Moon Knight and others have seemed unimpressive at level 70 with their new uniforms, but then as soon as we get them to level 80, then they suddenly seem like untouchable gods. So yeah, I will have to reserve judgment on Blue Dragon until then, but in the meantime, you can absolutely look forward to reviews on all three of these characters, and then we'll see what kind of content we can get them into that's the best fit for them. My guess is, you know, PvP for the two on the left and right, and then PvE for the one in the middle. But who knows? Maybe they're all for PvP, because she has guard break immunity. She's got everything except an iframe ignore skill, so that's really good. And her tier 3 hits like an absolute truck. So yeah, my first impressions are, you know, mixed, but I'm still trying to be optimistic about this update. But we really need the devs to start sprinkling in small upgrades to game modes and small changes to game modes with these updates now and then. You know, changing around the squad battle requirements, it doesn't take a lot of effort, right? This should be something that happens every month, right? They should just change this every single month to give players new characters to chase after, to give players new incentives to grind. I know some of you are going to say, oh, Alex, well, now you can grind tier 4 Blue Dragon because you can use her for squad battle. That's not really the point of what I'm trying to say. You know, it shouldn't be just the tier 4s that get that kind of attention. It should be the entire list that changes to facilitate a more interesting game, you know, dynamic game mode for all players, right? They should be adding or changing existing stages of Shadowland, again, to facilitate, right, to encourage players to be building up these characters month after month, week after week, year after year, like they do every month with the story mode, right? Like, this is such an amazing idea because it rotates every month. So everything else should rotate every month, right? Squad battle should rotate every month. Shadowland should rotate every month. Okay, so yeah, hopefully they catch on to that sooner rather than later. But yeah, in the meantime, I got to get down to testing and first a little bit of sleep. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.